What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Beefcast. Yeah, my get up very weird, but yeah, let's go with it. I'm here with my good friend Reg from the New Hue. What's up?
Hey, long time no talk.
Long time no talk. Actually, it's been what? Almost a few months, 6 months since the last time we had a
Yeah.
talk, right? And we were doing a podcast for Spartan Race, and yeah, you still didn't get to do a Spartan Race. So tell me more about that, your podcast.
Yeah, actually I just finished recording one. So the New Hue is a black and white podcast. It's literally in black and white, but the reason also why it's black and white is so that there are no gray areas in the discussion. So what you see is what you get with all the artists. So the artists basically can do whatever they want. It's whatever you feel like doing, it's fine. It's welcome here in the New Hue. The discussion is there. We used to talk about a few serious topics, right? At the start of the pandemic, it was more of like what's going on with other industries. So, for example, we had DJs, we had photographers, we had musicians, we had chefs, we had financial advisors, and everything about what was happening in everyone's industry in the pandemic. But, you know, we also started kind of like segueing or going into other different directions. So we created a segment called Humud, which is also a podcast. It's a shorter podcast, right? But the
Yeah.
thing is, it's more on music. The artists get to create playlists, so they curate their own playlist, what they're feeling. For example, um, one artist just wanted to do a playlist that was, for coffee, and it was everything that was going through their mind. And it got to a point where actually we had Sasha Grey on
I saw.
Humud.
I
She
mean,
created her playlist, and her playlist was for Hugh as a fun, right?
wow, wow.
So we got to get a glimpse into. She talked about it also. If you guys want to check it out, it's on the New Hugh's website. But the podcast itself was a discussion of how those were the songs that she loves listening to. So you get a glimpse into her mind, her type of music, what she listens to, and honestly, it's pretty good. I told her I really really enjoyed her playlist because I didn't expect to find songs that I've never, like, I don't usually listen to there, or like the artists rather instead of the songs.
What's her
And
genre? Sorry.
you have to check it out. It's really
Okay,
good. It's a mood. It's a
it's a
mood talaga.
different type of. What's your typical like you? What would you say is your favorite genre?
I don't have a favorite
Yeah.
genre. I have songs that are very siguro like weird. Like you wouldn't think I'd listen to them in a sense, but I guess I could say my go to genre or types of songs is this playlist I made. It's called Timeless. So it's a old like classics. For example, like Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, the Beatles,
Ooh. And also the
uh
retro, of course.
yeah, of course. So old school classic songs, but it also has like the classics of the 90s, right? Like we had a little bit of R&B there, and everything, but it's mostly, actually majority of it are really just old school classic songs. I
You gotta
listen to
love
it
the
and I
old
feel
school.
good.
Yeah, I also listen to the old school songs, especially there are modern artists right now that try to actually go for the retro vibe because that
Hmm.
works on them. Like the weekend. Have you
Yeah.
heard this songs recently? Like Blinding Lights, Starboy. There's a beat to it that makes it takes you back to that classic mood. Also like Bruno
Hmm.
Mars. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Bruno Mars definitely very discoteca, like that you want to dance around in a club to his
yeah,
songs or in a party to his songs. Something very funky. Funky was like so nice. It was such a
yeah,
it was such
funky.
an upbeat song,
Yeah,
right?
magic. Yeah, 24K magic. Is that yeah? What do you
Yeah,
call it?
24K.
Yeah,
Yeah.
24K was also good. Like those kind of songs. But yeah, how did you get to be in the new Hue, or like what made you get into the new Hue kind of like project?
Yeah, the new Hue, but it's like a pun
Yeah, it's a
on the
pun at
new
the new you. It's super nice. Like especially that came out in COVID season. So it's like
Yeah.
it's like a whole new change of perspective. And yeah, something we're gonna talk about later on is like, why are we doing this? Why are we podcasting while there is a pandemic
Exactly.
going on? So yeah, how did
Yeah.
New Hue come about?
Well, I had this colleague. His name is H. He goes by the name H on the podcast. So H, if you're watching, sup dude, we were together a while ago shooting like a podcast.
What's up?
But yeah, so he and I were colleagues, and we were friends. And the reason how we became friends is because we kind of just really enjoyed very odd discussions, things that make you ponder on
Hmm.
what's happening, and like things that basically get you to really like think about what's happening. So more on like insights and everything on what's going on. And it got to a point where we did a podcast, or like not really podcast. We did like a live stream for a work event. And it was like a series. And then after it ended, we were like, huh, I kind of want to do that. I kind
Sounds
of want to
fun.
continue it. Yeah, so we were talking about it, and he was like, "Hey, what? Fuck it, let's do it. Let's do
Yeah.
it." Right? Um, so we did it, and we were like, "Yeah, who's gonna listen to two people, like two nobodies, like just talking their minds out and stuff, like with guests, right?" We just wanted to voice out opinions and things that were happening around the world around that time, because the topic was COVID and how the world is adjusting or changing, the industries are changing to COVID. And it kind of just, we're starting our third season. Our third season is
I
like,
saw.
I believe next week. Yeah, so like, I mean,
Congratulations.
thank you. I mean, I never expected it, but we had a few star-studded guests, and it's been such an honor, and it's been so much fun. It's been the one thing I would look forward to after work. I'd be like, "Oh, I have podcast today. I'm gonna have so much fun," and it became that kind of thing, and it just we're still continuing it. I mean, it's still happening. It's going on. We took a break, but I'm so excited to be back again, doing this. It's been so much fun.
So did you like take a break like for a long time? When was your last episode compared to what's coming up next up?
Before the holidays. So, normally kasi actually our first season nga, ilang episodes nga, sobrang daming episodes na eh. We had so much episodes, so many episodes
Yeah,
lined
you had
up.
a lot.
Yeah, we had a few weeks I think in between, and then or around a few weeks to a month. So around 3 to 4 weeks siguro. I can't really remember. And then we had the second season right um right as the holidays. It was the Burr months na.
Hmm.
And then by December, we cut it already kasi holidays na yan. People need to spend time with their families,
Yeah.
relax and everything. And now we're back with our third season. So around a month and a half, I guess. Or over a month and a half to 2 months siguro kami nagpahinga. Let the holiday season like pass and everything.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
yeah, we're back.
a lot of people have been still in the holiday mood. Like people are going vacation. Can you imagine like people going out of the country and all that? Like, I mean, out of town rather,
Yeah, out of the country, I'm kind of medyo
and not so
um
much.
no, yeah, kasi syempre I don't want to unknowingly carry it or like
Yeah.
catch it, of course. Like, but out of town, I guess, yeah, a lot of, yeah, exactly. That's also why we're recording it. We're not going live anymore. We used to go live, but the reason why we're recording it is so that people can listen to it while they're going around out and about in the car or during their free time, instead of just waiting for the live. But yeah, I mean, people are definitely going out more now. It's a bit, I mean, here in the Philippines, it's a little bit less restrictive in a sense where you can go to Tagaytay, you can go to Clark, you can go to nearby areas, I guess.
My only thing is that I just want to remind people that if you go out, you just gotta stay responsible. That's all you gotta. I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you can go out, yeah, you can have fun, but you also gotta be responsible about that. Set some parameters and limits in your stuff. Like
No,
that's
yeah, exactly. You
because
might not be, you might not get the
You,
virus
you might
spreading,
bring it to
but
someone
you might
else.
be a carrier. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, yeah, you might be a carrier if you live with your parents. Be careful. They're they're actually more susceptible to it. Just because we're young doesn't mean we have to be reckless.
that's probably why I also got into the podcasting type of thing. Because like for me, honestly, like I don't know, I kind of enjoyed interviewing people. Like, by the way, nice drink. What's your drink consisted of?
A gin and tonic.
Oh, I only got like a little bit of almond milk and coffee. Oops.
Oh my goodness, coffee
I
at
know.
this hour.
It's gotta wake myself up for this, and yeah, I just want to make sure that when I get to interview you, get to talk to you, we gotta, you gotta make the hype up. So yeah,
Mm,
going back to it, like yeah, Beefcast. I guess I was too saturated with fitness in a way. Like every day, like what you do training, you do all these workouts and everything. It kind of becomes like your routinary kind of schedule, and I meet a lot of interesting people besides that. Cause like yeah, example, people I work out with, instead of just talking about fitness and workouts, these people also have different lives, right? They have their own different
mm.
lives that I want to get to. And yeah, people like you have a very influential, very influential story for me. And I mean, like, especially when we did that Sparta race episode where you talked about your weight loss transformation, especially from, getting from the toxic society, which I want to know more about, and getting into that freedom of discussion where you get to discuss about your transformational progress, which I congratulate you,
Mm.
by the way. Congrats on that. Really, really big fan of your transformation.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, that's how we started Beefcast, and slowly but there, like people started listening to it and kept telling me like, "Man, oh crap, I keep saying god damn it, like I don't know, like a lot of people kept telling me that the things that I've been interviewing, good thing it's very separate from the fitness world. That's why I don't really associate myself right now with any fitness kind of shit I write about. How about you? Like, how did you get interested to also talk to me about this? Like, did you check out the episodes? Did you check the stuff?
I checked out a few episodes. The last one I saw was the tarot card reading.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen your a few of your episodes as well, but I think definitely this is like a no-brainer. If you ask me, will you be on the podcast with me? Dude, yeah. What do you expect? I had so much fun the last time we did Spartan Race
It's good.
together.
It's, it's
And
good.
we talk a lot like on chat, but we never really get to sit down and talk like this. Like I can
That's
see
true.
your face right now.
That's true. The shit we talk about in chat is like sometimes it's dumb, sometimes it's just random shit that we get to go through. I think
Yeah, but it's mostly dumb.
yeah, it's kind of a small story how we get to know each other. Reg and
Mm.
I go way back. Actually, we go way back, like all the way back.
High
But
school, no? High school.
a little bit of high school, and then I think we started getting along around college or late college.
Yeah, but we met in high school.
Yeah, we met at high school by a mutual friend. Still your friend, maybe not your friend anymore.
What's up, man? We're in good terms.
Yeah, so I don't know. You share about it. How do you think? Is it okay for you to share about it?
Yeah. I mean, we're cool, and it was like an old friend in high school that I kind of, lost touch with, but we're still okay. And he was one of the reasons why you and I met, because you guys were
Yeah,
in the batchmates or classmates, batchmates, and were you
batchmates and
classmates also?
classmates basically.
Yeah,
So
batchmates and classmates. They were basically like friends. Yeah, they were friends. So I can't remember. Are you two batches up or one
we
batch
were
down?
batch Savior 2012. So we graduated 2012.
One
One
batch
batch. So
up.
you're 2013.
Yeah. Yup. So yeah, you were one batch above, and you know, after I lost touch with this friend, because life got busy, college and everything, entrance exams, and I went to university. I met you again.
Very randomly, because we went to the same college, DLSU. So
Yeah.
we were from DLSU, and I was like, "Oh shit, I know this girl. I know this girl from my friend who used to
Yeah.
date you." And I was like, "Okay, like let's see if she's friendly or not." And yeah, apparently the first time I got to talk to you was about, I think it was organizational recruitment week, something like that. And
Yeah.
we got to catch up, and I was like, "Oh, I'm Andrew's friend," and you were like, "Oh, okay." So,
Yeah, because I knew your name, but I at that time I never met any of his friends.
ah, right. Yeah, we never also
Right?
met.
I never
We
met
never
any of
met
you
you also.
guys.
Like we only knew
Right.
about
So I was like,
you.
it's this guy.
But yeah,
It's B.
we never expected to go to this kind of level, and then we started to reconnect after college. Because after college, I had a transformational phase as well, like from
Mm.
how I was actually super antisocial before. I don't know if compared to how I am today. And then we started talking, and I was like, "Reg, are you still into Krav Maga?" Because super interesting. Because I remember you were really, really the only person I know who gets into Krav Maga, and I was like,
That's
"Wow,
how me and your friend met.
yeah, okay." So that's how you guys met from that martial art. Do you call that martial art?
Yeah.
It's a martial art, right?
Um, I wouldn't really say it's a martial art. I'd say more of really self defense
Yeah, it's
because
more self defense.
martial arts are, you know, it's a sport. It has discipline. It has all of these amazing qualities, but Krav Maga does not have rules.
Oh,
Basically, the
okay.
concept or the belief of Krav Maga is that you don't have rules because it's self defense, meaning if you need to go for someone's eyes, if you need
Oh,
to kick them in the groin, if you need to like make sure that you get away from whatever you need to do to get away from a situation that basically puts your life in danger in a sense,
right.
right?
So
So
don't mess with Reg. That's the bottom line. Don't mess with Reg. Like I think that's I think that's the bottom line right there. And you guys don't have competitions for that, right? So it's just really
no,
classes.
yeah, no, we don't. I think it would be very messy if we had Krav
Yeah,
Maga
I was like thinking.
competitions. Considering that the basic purpose of Krav Maga is for self defense. Therefore, you don't really have rules that you stick by that you can't do this to someone or you can't do that. It's more of you training to get yourself out of a situation that you might end up, hopefully not end up, but if the worst case scenario comes, you end up in that situation, you have the skill set to get you out or the mindset to get you out even.
That's interesting. I've always wanted to get into those kind of things. Actually, like started with martial arts, but with martial arts, kind of hard to find a dojo here. I'd say for taekwondo, karate, especially recently when I finished Cobra Kai. Holy shit! Did you watch Cobra Kai? Did you watch
Is
Cobra
it
Kai?
everybody's been telling me it was good because of is
Yeah,
his name Billy Zapka?
William Zapka. So
William Zapka, sorry. Yeah.
I think one
I
of the best reasons why I liked watching it is because my dad watched Karate Kid before, and how he kept telling me that Karate Kid was one of the most influential movies back in his time. And then when he saw now that there's a series about it, about the same actors with a continued story, it was kind of interesting to see it from that perspective, and how they tried to tailor fit the Karate Kid from before to our modern time era Karate Kid, which is
mm,
pretty interesting, right? It's
I
like
should go see that. I have it's on my list. It's on my list
you
of things
should.
to watch. I'm like tearing through a lot of Netflix
I,
series right now.
I'd say
So it's there.
I'd say season one is kind of slow for you to pick up, but season two will be a little bit. It's a lot more exciting rather. And then now that season three is out, holy crap, brains exploding everywhere, and I can't wait for season four.
Okay. I'll take your word for that.
Well, yeah, what's new with you? What's new with Hugh, rather? Yeah, what's new with Hugh?
Um I guess nothing much in a, other than, I just completely left corporate.
Ooh.
For now. I mean, for now at least.
Okay.
I decided 2020 was a shit show of a year for everyone. Not just me, but for everyone, because the global pandemic itself was an entire fiasco. Leave, like, not even including for the Philippines, the volcano explosion in Taal, or the fires in Australia, right? The Australian fires. There were also a few fires in the states, if I remember correctly, like a few
Yeah.
fires in the West Coast, right? So it
And
was just,
Kobe.
and another, I believe, another volcano erupted around in the area of New Zealand or near that area, and it was just absolutely crazy. Aside from COVID itself, we had all of these natural disasters. We even had the typhoon, right? The fucking
Yes.
crazy ass typhoon. And I decided that towards the end of 2020, I would do something that is not normally something that I would do, which is to actually take a huge risk.
Okay.
and and leaving my stability in the corporate job, because it's a stable, I'm financially stable in that sense, for something that I feel like would be more fulfilling for me in that sense, something that I could do or do that would feed the fulfillment that I am looking for, and at the same time that could give me the work that I truly enjoy and the balance also with my personal life and with my fitness, with my relationship with fitness and with everyone else.
That's
So
good.
yeah, that's exactly what I did. Come January 2021, I I left.
I mean, I'd say congratulations because the last time we got to talk about it, you were super down to it. Like you were like, "Oh God, my work very toxic," and that
No,
stuff.
I
So
was very unhappy.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, for me kasi, some people might be like, "Are you crazy?" I yeah. I guess I am. I guess I am crazy, but I am not apologetic in one way or another for choosing myself
Hmm.
and my what's best for me, because you're different from me. We have a lot of things in common, but we're not exactly the same.
Definitely.
Like we don't obviously, like, I'm pretty sure we don't think exactly alike, right? So what's best for you may not be best for me. And that being said, I decided to finally take the big leap and go do something that was something that I would feel would be better for me, not just physically in terms of my fitness, my relationship with my body and fitness, but something that would be healthy for me mentally, because that's something, I guess, in our culture here in the Philippines, especially with older generations, because younger generations now are actually being more aware of their mental health, but older, like, the stigma here around mental health is very this or that, right?
Yeah.
It's very hard to get people to really understand the importance of taking care of yourself, because I mean, for me, kasi it took me a while, but I realized eventually, if I'm taking care of myself in terms of my physical fitness, building up my muscle, making sure I eat healthy, or making sure I have a well balanced sleep, our brain is a part of our body. So that should be considered in every factor, and how our mental health plays in that way is a huge factor as to how we perform physically outside, not
Yeah.
just like in terms of fitness, but in terms of work. And honestly, what was happening last year was so something that just really caught me off guard, and I found myself in a really bad place mentally. So I took a step back during the holidays, and I thought, um I stayed in my room. I locked myself in my room for a while. I thought about it. I reflected on it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I have enough money that I've saved up. to get me by. I'm very thankful that, I have family that's looking out for me, because I know that is a privilege um in itself, right?
Right.
And for me, I was like, okay, I have my money, my personal money. I'm so glad I have family to support me, and you know what? I'm just gonna do it. So I did.
It's a good step. I'd say it's a good step forwards towards mental health because I like what you said, especially when you mentioned about your brain being part of your body. Because most of us we just take into account the fact that if we eat healthy, we train health, that means we're healthy. But no, there's also that mental stability that we have
Mm,
inside. Just because we do things healthily doesn't necessarily mean that it will affect our mindset and how we go about
yeah.
things, right? I think that was my issue also before when I was in corporate because I was also in corporate for a year and a half, and I'd say I was trying to be fit, but also the stress it was just killing my motivations to do better. So what happens is it becomes like my work becomes a bit routinary. There's no progress in that sense, and that's unfair for the company and unfair for myself as well. So it wasn't just
Exactly.
one thing.
Mm-mm.
I think that was the most common issue that we have because we're trying to promote health in a way, example, in a normal daily basis. But if
Mm-hmm.
companies tend to grind you, if companies tend to, make the most out of you, how do you do that, right? Especially during COVID. I don't know, was your company or if I could ask, if was your company was like lenient during COVID or were times really, really hard?
Well, one thing I was thankful for about my company is that we didn't have to take any salary cuts.
Oh, that's good.
Because I understand that a lot of companies, even the previous company, like way before the last one that I worked in, had to take salary cuts. I heard from my friends that were still working there. So one of the things that I was thankful for was that we didn't really have to take any budget cuts or salary cuts. But that being said, the pressure was undeniably 3 to 4 times more. Obviously, because it's a pandemic, people are struggling with their businesses. And that does not exclude the big companies or the corporations, right? They're still struggling with the loss or the decline in the sales and the revenue. But that being said, most of the pressure was really on us, or you know my colleagues and I. And it was for a time bearable, but it got to a point where things were escalating, and I realized that it wasn't something I would enjoy really being in. Rather, kasi one of the things kasi that because I was in sales. I was in product management, but in the job function of the company and the industry that I've been in since I started working is really that product management is part of sales in that sense. That's the structure. And that being said, that's where you make all the money. That's where you make the profit to keep the lights on in a corporation. And the pressure there was basically doubled, tripled overnight. And it was just getting so hectic and so bad. And the habits were to a point toxic already. Not just like my habits, but everyone else's habits. But I mean, I honestly, I developed really toxic habits as well. I started neglecting my my goal to myself, that I would be working out. Because I told you, if you remember in the last podcast that we did, that my fitness is a non-negotiable. But that very second, when things just turned overnight and things just got way more hectic and dire-diretso siya, it became a negotiable
Ah, damn. So there were
overnight.
so there were times that you couldn't do it anymore. Cause yeah, that I think
I
before that,
stopped. Like, I really stopped for a while, for like a
shit.
few months. Dire-diretso yan. I couldn't find time because I was so tired. I would basically just be in bed just to sleep.
Ah, yeah. becomes like sleep
So,
becomes the proper need more than fitness, right? Rather
yeah,
that time.
it becomes the
Priority
it goes
rather.
up a rank in terms of priority, and fitness just goes to the bottom because it made me feel like, I was already mentally fatigued and drained out, and then I'm gonna
Do
I'm
that.
gonna work
Yeah.
out. I'm not gonna have a good workout. And it made me really upset because the last time that we spoke, I was like super
You were
at my
happy about
peak in
it.
terms of fitness. I was doing so much and I was so happy, and then, you know, I understand, I felt that it was very unfair to the company. But the thing is kasi, one thing that I will say here that I don't know if anybody else listening would agree to, but personally for me, I feel as if corporate is not for everyone. People are there because they need to. We are privileged to have the option to leave corporate, and I understand, that it's really the most stable because you can't get any stable than that other
That's
than,
true.
I mean, even owning your business is a risk to a certain degree, right? Because it's your investment, it's your money. But you can't get any stable in terms of the benefits, the monthly salaries, and everything that corporate takes care of. But it's not necessarily for everyone, and especially for, I guess, people our age or people younger than us, right? People in the lower batches, people that are younger than us. It won't really be for everyone now because I feel like with the younger generation, there is a growing awareness in terms of the importance of mental health
Yeah. Agree. Agree.
in that sense.
And mental health connects to what you want to do to make yourself ease up. Because I don't think we,
Yep.
I would say that, I don't take my word for it, but I would say that it's not that we're weaker when we take into account about mental health. We're just more aware on how to guide our pathways that way. Because I asked my dad about this the other day also, about his work, his line of work, because it's been routinary since before. And I was like, "Are you okay with what you're doing?" Like, not in an offensive way, but he was like, "Yeah, for him, it's what he does because he enjoys the benefits out of it, and for him, it's like work is work." But us, what
Mhm.
happens is that for me, do I enjoy what I'm doing, or like do I get to do something exciting about what I would do in work? I think that's what happens to us right now, right?
I think for us kasi we want to, in a sense, curtail the feeling of fulfillment. Na
Yeah,
parang, yeah, I'm doing something that directly affects someone in a good way. Because well, to each his own, obviously.
definitely.
Because for some of my colleagues, what they were doing was directly for them, in a sense, fulfilling because they were helping their clients. They were helping make help their clients get better business and everything. But for me, I didn't feel like the industry and the company that I was in was something that was fulfilling for me because I wanted something a bit more direct, like not client to client to then that person, that singular person, right? I wanted something that was directly helping that person or a community in a sense. And that's also one thing that I considered in the big leap. you know um Aside from mental health, I guess, and the differences also with our culture right now,
Right.
especially with the younger generation. um that was one of the things, the sense of, am I really feeling fulfilled with the work that I do now, or is there something that I could do that would make me, in a sense, a bit more fulfilled and happy to be
Yeah.
doing the work that I do? Because there's no job na hindi stressful. Every job is stressful, whether you like it or not. It is stressful. It just matters on the kind of job that you are kind of okay. Yeah, I'm this is the good kind of stress for me. It depends on like the kind of work that you do and the stress that comes with it, that makes you feel like this is the good kind of stress. I can handle this because I'm happy to do what I do.
And have you found a new job to entail that too? Or like, did you get a new discovery on how you want to be fulfilled?
Honestly, I think I do. Job hunting during a pandemic is not easy. The competition is
Definitely.
very high. But I have thankfully found myself in what I feel would be a place and a company, or not really a company because it's still starting up, right?
Okay.
Um, in an organization that would be good for me, or that's something that I would really put my heart into in that sense. Um, I'm very excited for 2021. Seems very positive. Because one of the things, actually, just to segue a little bit from my life update,
Yeah.
is that one of the things I looked for if I were to find a new stable job would be the environment and the people I would be directly working with. Because, I mean, mind you, it's very easy to get hawa, yeah, kind of like to get
Okay.
used to or to get influence in a sense with the habit or the environment that you and your team
Yeah,
set.
right.
So if you have a team or an environment where they have bad habits, it's also very easy. And like, I don't, because I have fallen into that experience before where I got into really bad habits, right? I stopped taking care of myself completely, and I just, whatever, like, as long as I was with my colleagues, I was fine. I was doing this and that, drinking a lot also, which was very bad. It's very bad. um Especially when you're working and you want to take care of yourself and you want to make sure that you're healthier
Right.
as you get older. But yeah, that was one of the things. I was drinking a lot. I found myself drinking a lot because I was stressed. I was upset. Pag Friday, I'll open like a beer bottle, or I'll fix myself like some wine or a sangria, or I'll treat myself to some any kind of alcoholic drink because of the habit. Not to say that drinking is entirely like so bad or anything. I still drink. I mean, I have a gin and tonic here.
Exactly.
But I mean, to do that almost every week was just so bad for me. But I mean, I'm ashamed to say that I got to that point where almost every week talaga I would just, once it's a Friday, I would just drink as much as I could and just relax, right? But it's also, that being said, it's also very easy to develop good habits or better habits when you are with people who also have those good traits or good habits. Everyone has good and bad habits in them. But for me, what I care about are those that can align to something that is a little bit selfish to say, but something that is a little bit healthier for me as a person or for how I am, right?
As long as it's not something that affects others in a bad way, then why not? Right?
Mm.
So that's what I'm also concerned about. Like this one, like podcasting. I'd say this is one of the reasons why we do podcasts as well, because we like to talk about our mental health. We like to talk about something that can just get ourselves, or all that pent up energy, or all that negative energy that we've been experiencing out there, right?
Yep.
I mean, this is
I
probably
mean,
my alcohol, like, because I don't drink. So oh wow.
good.
Yeah, I don't, no, super such a long story of why I don't drink, but yeah, I don't drink because of etc. like that. But instead, I do podcasts because I want to bring out the stress here and enjoy and learn the new things from people. And yeah, I learn what I like about you is that you talk a lot about mental health, and that's something that's very, very important right now. So if you would say like an advice or like something that you can give to people, because I know some people also having hard time with their jobs right now because of COVID. What advice do you think you give that?
I have a few actually
Right.
from my personal experience. Honestly, what helped me kind of stay afloat during the time when I was having a hard time with my job and with myself and with everything around me. I was a total mess. And like, here's a funny thing, Beef. We were talking and you couldn't really tell, right? Because it's something that happens internally,
Yeah.
not in the output or not in what I say. I may be like very happy and always outgoing, because I normally am, but that doesn't mean like nothing's going wrong in my brain, right?
Yeah.
So it's very hard to tell, and you have to be very sensitive and be very observant and aware, especially if you have a close friend that's been going through something. But personally, for me, I've been like a mess at one point in 2020. Whether or not I was being very fit or not, I have hit a slump, and I could say that mentally. I've mentally hit like a dead end road that I felt like I couldn't really keep myself afloat, and my output at work, with my fitness, with myself, with my body, was really, it was starting to show. Um One of the things that really helped me, I could say, is that I actually did therapy.
Okay.
It's one thing. Just because you do therapy, and I'm not saying you need to go see a psychologist, because those are doctors that prescribe you medication. I'm talking about a psychiatrist, something that can do talk therapy, something
Hmm.
that can, someone that can just listen and talk it out with you, and why do you feel this way, what can you do. It can just clear your mind, declutter your thoughts. That helps a lot. I mean, whether or not like I had a mental disorder or anything, well, I just did it. I just went to therapy, talk therapy to be specific, and I did a few sessions. I kept doing it because it was helping me clear my brain of all the clutter and the racing thoughts. It was helping me um distinguish what is real and what isn't, in terms of like my negative thoughts. Am I too harsh on myself? Maybe I really need to accept the fact that I need to relax, because I have the tendency to be a bit of a workaholic in a sense, where if I have something to do, I do it right now.
That's
And
why the
I
pressure
enjoy
got
it.
to you.
I enjoy being productive. I enjoy working out. That's part of being productive for me. But almost to a point where it's very bad for me as well if I don't control myself. So one of the things I learned from therapy is give yourself a fucking break.
You need that. We need that definitely.
It's
Y-
okay. It's okay, you had a shitty day. It's okay. Give yourself a break. Treat yourself to something. Relax. Don't do anything else to aggravate yourself, because that won't do you well mentally. I mean, therapy worked for me. I'm not sure, for anyone else, because we're all different, but it's something I recommend whether or not you have a mental disorder or any kind of sickness, mental illness or anything, because it's just, think of it as going to your doctor for a checkup, for a physical checkup, like a routine checkup. It's the same for therapy. It's for talk therapy, at least, right? Or for those that have to take prescriptions for therapy itself, like prescription therapy.
Normally, it's just because people tend to give it a bad name, rather. I've right.
It's taboo, eh. It's very
Yeah.
taboo here.
When people say like, "Oh, I gotta check a therapist," like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" That's the common like connotation. But there's like nothing wrong. I just wanna share my feelings. But then like they'll be like, "Oh, you can share your feelings with us." Still kind of different. I mean, right?
It's different when it's
Still different.
somebody that's, yeah, it's definitely a different experience. That's what I can say. Because I have friends that I have literally shared everything to, right?
Right.
But it's definitely different from when I actually did. And at that time, kasi it was GCQ, pero very strict pa sila sa opening of other stores unless it's like essential, right? So I did online, um, through this website that does mental health. Like, it was an actual, they have an actual clinic here in the Philippines, basically, here in Metro Manila. And they were offering the online consultation because their clinics weren't open at that time. So I did the online continuously. I still do. And one thing I found out also is that from my other friends that don't really have, like the stigma of like, oh, you probably have some diagnosis or something. No, they're regular people. But I found out that some of my friends who are regular people, regular um, working people, they do therapy because it helps them improve their output at work. it helps them though. It helps them clear their mind. And I was like, okay, if it works for you, do it. But I encourage at least the people who are listening here to at least try it once to see if it works for you or not. If you're really having a problem, you can talk to a friend. Yes, you can. Obviously, you will always have a friend to talk to. But if you feel like there's something that you really want to clear out or to go into a deeper dive with your mental health, therapy is one of the ways to do it. It was one of the best things that ever happened to me.
That's very interesting. Now I want to try it. Like now that you mentioned it, because I don't know, sharing stuff for other people gets personal, but of course, with personal stuff, you also tend to put barriers around, right?
Yeah.
Like with therapy, I guess you could just go all out, distribution of whatever you want to say.
No, yeah. It the word I can describe for what I felt when I started doing therapy, and I still do. And I actively tell my friends that, if you're having a hard time and you feel like you can't really talk to your closest friend, even if you wanted to, go try therapy at least once, because the first word that came to mind after my first ever therapy session, when I was like really like sobrang gulo ko, as in promise talaga, I wasn't doing anything productive for myself or anything healthy for myself. um but after that therapy session, the first word I could describe what was that it was cathartic.
Wow, what a deep
It
word.
was very cathartic. Parang there was this weight lifted off my chest and like parang nawala. I felt very light and I felt like I could work properly again. I could do things properly again. I could talk to people a bit better now. And here's a little hint for those who are watching. If you want to go check out my podcast, you can check out around the podcast from May. That was around the first time we started. Go check like a few episodes, one episode there, and then go to around September, October, or November. You'll see the difference with how I looked.
When did you start
Kasi
that therapy?
no, kasi May I was okay.
Yeah,
Around the latter half of 2020, I was getting really gulo. I was getting affected mentally. You can see the difference because your mental health affects you physically also. It shows.
right.
Kita siya. If it gets bad enough, it will actually start showing. So if you can check the podcast out. Ang laki ng difference with how I looked at the start compared to how I looked around during the burn months. It was huge compared to like how I'm looking now.
Yeah. Now that you're off from that, that anchor that kept you in the
Yeah.
mids, you're so much happier. Which also shows that I was really excited also to see the big change from you because now you're more jolly. The way that you chat more, it's like before the way you were chatting was like, oh shit, like beef, I'm a slave, and then now you're like, I'm I'm like, let's go, son. It also shows a big difference on how you talk. It's personality din
Yeah.
talaga. I
I
mean, no
mean,
matter.
Beef experienced it himself because I would talk to him about how I felt like a corporate slave. Because again, for me, corporate isn't for me, right?
Yeah, I also
And you
had to go
experienced
through it
that.
though. I mean, I would say you're also thankful, also I guess for being going through part of corporate because I learned a lot from it.
Oh
Not
yeah, I did.
not just technical aspects of it, but I learned a lot about the discipline, I guess the way the strategy and the way the organization moves.
Yep,
It gives you a lot of insights on how you can portray that to your daily life basis or to the future business that you're working on, right?
exactly. I mean, corporate, not to shit on it at all, because I mean, it wasn't for me. But that being said, I still learned so much in
Yeah.
my how many years in corporate. I learned so much in what I was doing, because I actually enjoyed the position and the job function, but just not siguro the environment and the industry that I was in. But needless to say, I learned from every aspect of my corporate experience, good or bad things, whatever. I took from it and I learned. And it's one of the reasons why siguro I guess I'm able to help other people in a sense to understand more on how businesses are evolving, how the trend is, especially the pandemic, what would post pandemic be, and everything like that.
I'm really happy for you. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
No problem. And yeah, one of the reasons why we got to do this is because I really appreciate. I mean, this is helping for sure a lot of people. I mean, maybe
I mean, I hope.
because I would say I think a lot of people get tend to be shy about talking about their hardships. I mean, yes, they talk about their hardships with friends, but it still doesn't help them as much. I mean,
Hmm.
also me, I tend to be introverted when it comes to negative stuff that happens to me. So far, a lot of bad stuff happened to me this year, this 2020. I mean, I would say, yeah, first of all, athlete career wise in the fitness world, oh, that was bullshitted on. Like, you know how sports was bullshitted on in 2020.
Yeah.
And then now, mentally, how do you keep going, right? So that's kind of the hard part about it.
Um, I mean, honestly, I really, I really try to get a few, like, not to say that every day kailangan ha,
Yeah,
or every week. Every 2 to 3 weeks, I do therapy. I book a schedule with my therapist. I have a therapist that I really enjoy talking to, and I schedule with him. He lets me know actually, because your therapist knows what's best for you, when is the right time to see you. Sometimes it can be like see you in 2 weeks, or sometimes see you in like 3 to 4 weeks, right? Because one of the things that I got from that is these exercises, or these daily activities or homework that I would do, that I think I used to think at first I would submit it to my therapist, but then really it was helping myself. So one of the things that he made me do was, like, for example, things that I'm grateful for.
oh
I'm
wow.
thankful that today this happened. I'm thankful that today I helped this. I'm thankful that today I felt good because of this. And then I'd fill in the blank. So, I mean, those kinds of things kept me going. Um, and, for everybody else that are, I am really encouraging people to try talk therapy at least once. Go see a psychiatrist at least once. Just try it once. Feel it out if it works for you, if it's or if it doesn't. But you know, if it's something you don't want to do regularly, just make sure to really, for me, lang talaga it works for me to be very mindful about what's going on, the people around you, and to be very aware. Like, for example, I'm with my dad for dinner. I need to be aware that, yeah, I'm with my dad. I'm having dinner with him. I am thankful that I get to have dinner with him. Rather than, because it's very easy to be like lost in your mind or lost in your phone when you're
Yeah,
having dinner, or like get distracted, right? So it's those little moments where you are aware and you are mindful of where you are and what's going on at the present time,
yeah,
in that
especially
sense.
right
Does
now.
that, does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Because I get what you mean, especially when it comes to family dinners. You know how sometimes families don't talk anymore when you're at the
Yeah.
same table. It's just kind of sad also for me to think about it because that happens to me also. Like if that I mean we sit down, we don't talk, we just watch on our phones, whatever it happens. But communication is still key. I think that's the most important part for dinner. Communication is key to keep everybody sane
Yep.
and to keep everyone no noticeable in that sense. It plays a part
Mm-hmm.
because in the future, can you just imagine if it becomes routinary? It becomes a habit
Yeah.
that you guys don't talk anymore, and it's bad.
It's really, I don't wish for that to happen to anyone, really.
Definitely. But yeah, I really appreciate that you get to chat with me tonight, Reg. Yeah, it's a nighttime. So apologies for the late night talk.
It's okay. Yeah. I mean, for those tuning in, it's kind of, well, it's not late. It's really not. But it's late for me
For you.
because I sleep early. Because I sleep early, because I wake up early. I'm more of a morning person. Kaya uminom na lang ako ng onte para at least ay dire-diretso tayo or something, right?
Right? Because
Um,
I forgot I mentioned to you before, like, why don't you work out with me? But then you're like, oh, what time is your workout? I'm like 6, and you're like in the morning, and I'm like in the afternoon, and you're like, oh, damn, sayang.
Because
Cause yeah,
I wake up early. I really do. Sometimes not so early by my standards, because the latest I've woken up is like 7 a.m.
wow, Jesus, I
But
don't know how
that's
you
just
do it.
because I'm a morning person. I wake up early, I walk my dog, I do my stuff in the morning, and then I work. That's always been really my routine. And then I start the day. I don't usually start the day without doing all of that, like waking up early, walk the dog, coffee, workout, sneak a quick workout in. I can't start the day without that.
I mean, I understand you. I mean, I've tried it recently though, like trying to work out in the morning to also do stuff in the morning, like a little bit of work. It's very productive, and I enjoyed it.
It
Not gonna
is.
lie, I enjoyed it because after you get to do all of those stuff, you still have time in a day. Imagine,
Exactly.
I think that's one of the most important thing right now that we're trying to chase on time.
That's so true. Kasi ako, I mean, I used to work out at night for a while, but then I
Yeah.
still wake up early kasi.
Uh-huh.
Like, I would still wake up early, and then I realized na, hey, if I do my workout in the morning and I wake up a little bit earlier, I'm done for the day. I can go home
Yeah.
after work. I don't need to go anywhere else and anything. And it's fun because I personally I've had experiences where I skipped on workouts after work because
Yeah.
oh, I'm done with I'm finished with work. I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of exhausted from what happened in the office today, and I don't want to work out anymore. So I'm just going to go home and rest. That was my excuse all the
Okay.
time. So when I started shifting, because I woke up early anyway, I started changing my workout schedule. Instead of after work to before work, I'm done for the day. After work, I go home, I lie down, I eat dinner, I relax, and then I
There's,
sleep.
there's no more like that thing that's left in your list that you have to do. That
Yeah,
nice
exactly.
wandering
And ako,
feeling.
for me, the fact that it's over and done with, I'm happy. I'm more than happy.
All right, you're kind of convincing me again to keep on going for it because I kind of stopped recently with that kind of setup. Hard part
It
about it
takes
is it's not also for everyone. Like some
Yeah,
people
it's not for everyone.
are just
For
really
some
night
people, it's
owls.
better for them at night. Eh. Yeah, like for my boyfriend, he prefers working after work, like working out after work.
She gets really separate.
Yeah, he's baliktad kami in terms of that. And I wake up early. So like sometimes like if he wanted to work together or something,
No.
nahulog by the way for those who are watching, nahulog yung ano ko. Yung
Oh.
jacket. It fell. Anyway, yeah, so for him, if he and I wanted to get breakfast together, like my time for breakfast is like 7 a.m. His time is like 9 or like 10,
Jesus.
right? So complete opposites. For him, it's better for him to work out after work. Although recently I've been surprised. He's been working out at like 6 a.m. Like I'd see na
Yeah,
parang he's working out at 6 or 7 a.m.
you're
because he wakes
influencing
up.
him.
He's been waking up earlier. I mean, he's okay with either. It's just he prefers the latter in the afternoon. It's not for everyone, but it's something I guess everyone could try. It takes a lot of discipline to get
Yes.
your body clock to adjust. Because if you sleep late, don't expect for it to work overnight na parang you'll feel good the next day because you woke up early and you worked out in the morning.
Yeah.
Siguro give it not even 21 days because they say it takes 21 days to make a habit, but for me it takes personally for me it takes like a month.
Right, right.
Cuz I fall out of my habits really fast. So it's easy for me to get influenced by good and bad habits sa totoo lang. So it took me a whole month of like let's do this.
It's discipline talaga. It's what I always
Yeah.
say
And
also
finding
before.
the right schedule.
Right. Right. Because like sometimes just really motivation that brings you into that thing, but then motivation doesn't really last that long. Once motivation is
Yeah,
gone, like you're sort of like, okay, fuck it, then I'm done. But if discipline stays on forever, or like how long till wherever you want to last it.
that's very true. But that being said, discipline is a very difficult thing to to really like acquire because it's so
Very,
easy to
very
be like,
difficult.
not today, tomorrow na lang, I'll do better tomorrow, until it's the next
Yes.
tomorrow, the next
Right.
tomorrow, like this, and then you're 1 month after, you're still saying tomorrow na lang. Personally, that's happened to me. So it got to a point where I was like, okay, stop it.
You gotta do
Just
this
do
now.
it. You hate it. You hate it. I don't care. I don't care that you hate it. You need to continue this.
That's what we all wish we could do actually. Like, just stop it, just do it. But yeah,
Very hard, but it trains your mind mentally to be a bit stronger, to say no to the things that you know aren't good for you, because you have the discipline to say no, or you have the discipline to do something that is right, in a sense, parang ganon,
yeah,
like you
I
want to,
get it.
like, you have, for example, tara beef, inuman tayo until like 1 or 2 a.m., but then I have a workout at like 6 a.m., for example, right? Or you have to wake up at 6 a.m. Ako,
Yeah,
I have to wake up at 6 a.m. to walk my dog. As fun as it would seem, I have to say no because I need to wake up at 6.
right,
Parang ganon.
right.
It's very hard. You have to balance it out. Sometimes you can say yes. Why not? Give yourself the treat or the break to be
Yeah,
like, yeah, I can sleep a bit later and have fun with friends tonight. And then just balance it off. Just learn when to say no, when to say yes.
I would always think about also the stuff I do, like especially with eating and stuff. Like people,
Mm.
I think that's one of the hardest discipline is eating. A diet for everybody. People always ask because I don't know if you just saw, but I posted a photo of mine 2 years ago. How I was like a little bit
Yeah.
chubby, and then I got into a fit shape, and people were like asking me,
Yeah.
"What's your diet plan? What's my diet program and shit?" To be honest, I have none. I this is raw. Okay, so I ate milk. I ate shake fries at one point every single night, and then with Monster Coke float. That was my go-to snack every single night, and people were like, "What the fuck are you
Masarap
doing to your
shake shake
body?"
fries.
Right? Barbecue flavor. Fuck yeah! Like that's my thing. And people are asking, how do you still maintain that kind of level of that body or whatever? And I'm like, it's not about trying, because as much as possible, my fitness journey or my transformational journey wasn't always about how to look good. It was always to feel better and to be better rather, as a whole. So if you're trying to just go for that trying to look good type of thing, yeah, cancel out the shake fries, cancel out the Monster Coke float.
For
But
aesthetic.
yeah, for aesthetics. But if you want to, crave or like indulge yourself with those kind of rewards and system, then for me that's a better diet plan than ever. Because like you get to, one, you get to satisfy your own personal cravings, and two, you basically get to have that better reward system for you to work out harder than
Hmm.
how it is, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm of the opinion that everything in moderation.
Yes, definitely.
Anything in
Not
excess can be bad for you,
not
whether
like
good
me.
habit or bad, right? So, I mean, for me kasi, I never really had a diet. Siguro the pinaka diet I tried was keto. I
Keto
did it
diet.
for I did it for a few months, and then I realized, I mean, it did help in a sense, but I am somebody, unfortunately, that for me parang I work better when I have carbohydrates in my system rather than a higher fat content. I mean, I did the whole thing. I went through ketosis and everything. I lost weight, but it's not something that was sustainable for me after a certain period of months. So I slowly went back into my regular whatever I would eat. And one thing that I tried to do was try to balance it out. Like, not not hindi naman sa McDo every day or anything. I actually don't eat I don't eat fast food anymore. And I don't really I don't really drink soda kasi.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not I'm not a sweet tooth. I'm just really coffee, water, and then maybe a little bit of alcohol. A little bit lang. Um so it was very easy for me to get into a more balanced diet in a sense. But what really was the game changer for me was my workout. Not really like sticking to a certain set of rules in a diet in that sense, because I'm the kind of person that if you make me give up chips for a month, you know those challenges where no
Yeah.
potato, no like this and like that, I will binge the month after I completed the challenge. I
Same.
am that kind of person. So I cannot, I mean, maybe for some people they can do that. If they can curtail their appetite and keep the discipline and like not eat this and avoid it, super good for you. I am so
Kudos.
jealous.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'm so jealous because I'm not like that. I binge. If I don't have like if I'm craving chips or for example, potato corner. Sarap eh.
Yeah.
If I don't get to eat that when I'm craving it, I will end up like fucking like ordering it
Everyday
the
terror
minute I
fries.
give it, right?
Yeah, not good.
So for me, if I have it balanced, I get to try all the foods that I want to try. I'm good. I'm okay. Balanced diet as long as I'm eating healthy, as long as I know what I'm eating and I'm practicing something called mindful eating.
Wow.
Have you heard of that?
No, but you're starting to make me feel bad. Like, about my.
Mindful eating in a sense is I guess one the mindful eating that my friend taught me because he's a coach is basically kasi he told me one time he was like you should practice mindful eating. Why? Ang bilis ko kumain. I eat so
Oh,
fast. Like I could gobble up an entire plate. It's not even 15 minutes. I'm done eating.
damn.
So um they did say, I mean, there was research on how your body takes minimum of 20 minutes to digest and to send the message to your brain that you're full.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's why my friend who was a coach was like, you need to practice mindful eating, meaning don't rush. Eat properly, pace yourself, make sure you are aware of what you're eating, the portion you're eating, the foods you're eating, that it's healthy or not, whatever, ganyan. And I've been trying to practice it, and from my experience alone, it kind of helped. Because like after 20 minutes, I was like, oh nga no, I'm medyo full na ngayon. Because never in my past experience have I actually reached 20 minutes na kumakain ako. It was always like 10 minutes.
You eat really fast, basically, and I guess it affects also how you.
I eat fast. I really do. And because I eat fast, I tend to overeat.
Oh,
Because
so the,
after 10 minutes, I'm still hungry.
right.
So I eat more. By the time I'm 20 minutes, I want to throw up because I'm so full.
You ate too much, basically, which you didn't feel.
Exactly.
It's like alcohol in that way. Like they hit you later, right?
Yeah, parang ganun nga eh. Like, it's like, okay, um, yeah, it's a delayed response.
That's interesting. I'll take into account that way because I'm kind of like you also. Like I eat a lot first, and then I don't realize it later. But holy shit, I'm full already. Like after, and I tend to also eat more, which is bad if I'm gonna take into account dieting. But yeah,
you should time, you should time your meal.
did you time
Like, try it
yourself?
once. Time yourself.
You
Oh.
timed yourself? Holy
Kasi,
shit!
no, my boyfriend and I, we eat, we're, okay, the one thing we're very similar in is that we eat fast.
Oh, so you all.
So one thing I did was like, um, one time we had dinner. It was like a small meal. It was like a rice bowl with mushrooms, puro mushrooms lang and rice.
Okay.
I was like, okay, let's eat. I look at the clock. Like, so I didn't tell him I was timing it. I look at the clock. wala pang 5 minutes, ubos na yung kinain namin. And I was like, oh, we need to do this. We need to do mindful eating. We need to practice mindfulness because literally when we got the bowls on the table, we just dug straight in. Dire-diretso. Wala pang 5 minutes, we were done.
Damn. All right, I think that's something to consider also for other people out there. Like, mindful eating. Well, thank you for that. Shit.
It helps naman. I mean, I hope it helps anyone who's listening right now.
Well, speaking of that, apologies, we don't have that much time anymore, actually.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot from you, and hopefully everyone else got to learn a lot, especially with mental health. I think that was the biggest topic that we got to talk about today,
Mhm.
because that is very important, rather. And I've always been telling my friends about you, how you also shared about your mental health inspiring ways, and yeah, you're like this mental health flagship, I guess, for for me, like, because you've been through a lot more than I have ever been through a lot, and I really appreciate that. But there's no comparison, by the way, with that kind of sense.
Yeah. To each his own journey, as in
Exactly.
really, everybody goes through their own mental hardships. But for me, one thing I am very unapologetic for, whether it's the stigma from older generations that might be coming back to bite me in the ass, I'm unapologetic for myself and taking the step forward into actually wanting to really treat my brain as a part of my body. I think since I did that, I have been doing better. In
That's
not
great.
just mentally but physically in that sense.
Well, I congratulate you, first of all, for making that step forward, especially that's a risk for you to endure. But second, also, I'm very happy for you that you've actually found your way to it. And I think, I know naman right now that once we end this call or this podcast, you'll still continue that consistency of your
Yeah.
jolliness, right? I hope things still get better for you. Uh,
Yeah, what are you talking about? I'm here. I'm living life.
definitely.
2021 will get better. There will be brighter days.
Yeah, definitely. And I really wish this shit goes south. I mean, like, this thing just ends already. This fucking COVID thing.
Yeah.
I swear, it's really ruining everything. But from the looks of it, I'm very positive. Not COVID positive, but I'm very positive on how this year would end up. Right? It's just
Yeah.
never know. But looking forward to it.
I mean, this year is the year for a lot of things to happen in everyone's life, in every individual's life, whether good or bad. But um 2020 was a shit show, but I guess for me, it's hard for me not to ignore the fact that I've also had good moments in the middle of a pandemic, right?
Definitely.
So if people can have good moments, or not even like the big moments na parang this is amazing, this is a blessing, but even the tiniest good moments and good memories in the middle of a crazy year and a crazy pandemic, then 2021 is something that we can all overcome.
Definitely. Well, I'd like to say thank you again, Reg, for that. I mean, really
Thank you
appreciate
for having me.
appreciate for having you here. And we know also, without the pandemic, this wouldn't come about, right? So the
That's
new
so
Hugh,
true.
the, the Beefcast, never know. Check out Reg's podcast, the new Hugh. What's the Instagram for it, rather?
Yeah, okay, I'll plug it a bit if you don't
Yeah, go
mind.
ahead. I don't mind.
So,
I'd really like people to explore and connect to your podcast also, because you do have a lot more episodes, and yeah, the topics that you guys get to go to. It's still different,
dude,
but
next time come guest. Come guest in the podcast
I
next
don't know how
time.
I look like in black and white, but yeah, I probably might look
We can set it up.
50 shades darker. In...
You have lighting naman eh.
right, right.
But yeah. Um, for those tuning in, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you enjoyed it, hi, I'm Reg. This is Beef. We're on Beef's podcast right now. But if you want to check out some of my podcasts, you can go to the New Hugh PH. So we have a YouTube page at the New Hugh PH. and on Instagram at the New Hue PH. You can also check out our website at www.thenewhueph.com. And maybe you might be able to see Beef in one of the future episodes.
Well, let's hope so. But yeah, look at that. You see that kind of outro? That was way beautiful. I mean, like, what do I just say? Just the Beefcast. That's it. But damn, that was awesome. That was awesome. All right.
Thank you. Ito sana repeat na naman ako ng repeat eh. Parang robot lang. Paulit-ulit ko lang yan sinasabi
But
dati.
that's Are you the one who says that in the last part, or does H say
I'm
it?
always the one that says that.
Oh,
H, my partner, says the intro. I always say the outro. Like the plug-in part.
okay. That's interesting. Well, thank you again. And I'll hope, yeah, if I get to be in your show, you'll see me in black and white.
Dude, yeah, let's plan it. All
All right.
right.
Take care. Bye bye, everybody.